So now we have started up ZBrush, and the first thing you'll notice, you'll get this ZBrush homepage that opens up. We're going to go ahead and click this X to close that. Next, we see this lightbox thing open. I'm going to click here where it says default project.zpr. I'm going to double click that, and this project is going to open with this ball in it. Now, the first thing that I want to do is I want to import in the front view and side view that I've created in Photoshop. I want to import that into use as reference that I'm going to draw from. I should probably make apparent that you can do whatever character you want. You do not have to do what I am doing here. If I go ahead and I go to the draw menu here at the top, I'm going to scroll down here to this area that says floor, and I'm going to turn on floor grid or Shift P. Okay, so that turns that on. I'm going to scroll down further here, and I'm clicking on this left side of this menu here. You see where my cursor makes this double-sided arrow that goes up and down. And I'm going to click front to back, and I will click map 1. And then map 1, this window opens up. I can click map 1, import, and I can find this drawing. Let's see where I'm going here. It is, and here is my front view. We'll click that, and I will click, excuse me, open. All right, I see that behind it. I can go back to draw, and I can go to draw menu. I can click here. If I go off this menu, it will disappear on me. I want to go to where it says left, right, and I'm going to click map 1, and I will click import. And this time I'm going to get the side view. I will click open. Okay. And I don't necessarily see it at the moment. I can see my front view. I don't see my side view. But give us a minute and we'll see it. I also want to turn off here on the right here where it says dynamic perspective. We'll turn that off. And let's go ahead and we're going to click and drag on the background. And when we do that, we see that we can rotate. So now I can see I have a side view there. I have a front view as well. And you'll notice when I'm rotating, there's this head right here in the top right. I can click and drag on that, and that will go to my side view. It'll go to my front view, right? So there we go. That's cool. I can also click and drag on the background to get anywhere in between those views, right? If I want to zoom in and out, I can click minus or plus. Minus will zoom me out, right, on right next to my number pad. I can also click Alt. I'll hold Alt and I'll click and drag while holding Alt, and that will pan. But if I'm clicking and dragging and I don't let go of my mouse, or if I'm using a tablet, I don't pick up my pen from the tablet surface, I can let go of Alt, and that will allow me to zoom in and out as well. Very cool. Okay. Some quick things in ZBrush. Well, actually, what we're going to do is we're going to add some stuff. So I'm going to, you notice I'm in draw mode, here at the top. It says edit and draw. I don't want to click edit, but where it says draw, I can switch that to move. And I can then, when it's switched to move, I have this gizmo. You might remember this. We've seen something similar in Maya. I can pull this up, and I want to match it with the head. So I'm pulling up on the arrow. And this box that's right here in the middle, you see if I click and drag on the background, I can rotate around to see that yellow box. I can click and drag on that, and that will scale it down proportionally. So I can move this. And again, this face that's here in the top right, if I drag that, it goes right to the front view. So I can position this head, and I can scale it down, or this ball, and I can scale it down to where it fits as the head right there. Very cool. All right. So I've done that. We're going to make more basic shapes here. This will be our basic body shapes lesson. So I want to go to where it says subtool here on the right. And I'm going to expand that. I'm going to go to where it says append. I'm going to click this button. And I'm going to select another sphere 3D. That's what's showing up here. Okay, here's my sphere 3D. The first one is still selected. That's the polysphere that I've just made and scaled down. My next one is here in line, and I can scale that up, or I can move it up, and then I can scale down by dragging on this square right in the middle. I can also click this green block, and that will scale up. So I'm going to put that right there. That'll be my torso. And I think that's good. I can do some stuff to change it, how it looks later. Look at my front view again. And from this point, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to click Draw. Go back into Draw mode. And I'm going to click my brush. That's here on the left. Draw mode was right here at the top. Right here is my brush on the far left. I'm going to click that brush, and I get a whole bunch of brushes that show up. This can be a little intimidating at first. But I'm going to click I to just focus on the eye brushes. And I can see here I have this IMM Primitives brush. I'm going to select that. And now that I've selected it, it'll give me objects that I can insert. I stands for Insert Mesh, IMM. And I'm going to click this Insert Sphere. And I'm going to go ahead and make sure, let's see. I'll zoom in a little bit. And I can see where I can put on a sphere. And it just does one. If it just does one, I want to do a Control or Command Z, and I'm going to click X. X. If it did two of them, don't bother with this. Just keep the two that you have. But X, make sure that I have, you can see I have this red circle on the right and a red dot on the other side. That indicates I got my symmetry on. So I'm going to go ahead and click and drag to add a ball going both on two sides, one on the right and one on the left. And with that set up, I can go down to where it says here in the, I'm clicking and dragging here to scroll down on the subtool menu. And I can go to where it says split. And then I can click this button that says split unmasked points. There we go. Split unmasked points. And now I can select that in the list. This is PM3D Sphere 3D2. I can see it when I select it. And I'm going to click rename, and I'm going to call these arms. Right now they just look like spheres, but that's okay. Rename, I called those arms. The circle that I created here, you can see that it becomes lighter while the others get darker. I will click rename, and I will call that torso. And the one on the top here in the middle, the head, I will click that in the list and click rename and call that head. enter, right? I'll select the torso, and with that selected, I still have my IMM primitives brush. I'm going to go ahead and click and drag down here to add as the legs. There we go. I've added them as the legs. They don't look like legs. They just look like spheres right now. But I'm going to go ahead and just click split unmasked points. And here they are. That's called torso 1 in my list. I'm going to select them. You can see that it's brighter than everything else when I select it in the list. And I'll click rename. I'm going to call these legs. Enter. All right. So I got my legs selected. I've named them. I'm going to change my brush. I don't want to insert any more meshes. Right now we're going to try to change everything. So I'm going to click here for the brush, and I'm going to click M and T for the Move Topological Brush. I can see that in the list if I wasn't able to see that. M, and I can see all the M brushes, and here it is, the Move Topological Brush. I can click T as well. I can see that I have my circle on one side, my dot on the other, but if I don't see that, I can click X. That turns on my symmetry. And I'm going to click S. S will put up my draw size. S is the shortcut for that. I'm going to go ahead and drag my draw size to be bigger. And I'm just going to pull down here on the bottom of this sphere. I could also move it using the move tool or the move mode. But I'm happy with turning up my draw size. I clicked S. I can also see here where my draw size is at the top panel here. I like to do my shortcut. And I want to pull this down. And I'm going to just look here at this view of the front view. If I want to look at the side view, I can drag on this person, the head here at the top. And I will go ahead and drag this using the move tool. And then I can see that it's kind of folding in on itself. It kind of looks kind of bad, right? And if I do a shift and F, I can see why. Shift and F. I can see that this has what's called topology of that ball, that sphere. I don't want it to have that anymore. So I will do a hold control. I'm going to click and drag on the background, and let's see if it reformulates. It does not. That's okay. I'm just going to turn, I'll click S, change my brush size down, and I'm going to look from the side, and I will go ahead and just kind of try to move things around a bit to be in the shape of legs. And so that only can go so far. So I'm going to go down, I'll scroll down here, I'll click and drag here on the left, go down to where it says geometry, and I'm going to turn on my Dynamesh. I'll click Dynamesh, and then I'll click this button to turn it on. And you see that once I've done that, my geometry has started to reformulate, and it's added more geometry in here, so it's not just pulling on my faces that I had. And I can hold shift, and I can hold shift and click and drag, or if I'm using a tablet, and shift will smooth everything out. You can look from the side view. I can pull here at the front of the at the front of the thigh. I'm kind of pulling here at the back. And I see a little bit of unevenness. I don't know why. Okay, let's look at the front view. And then S will change my drawing size. So S puts up this draw size here. So I'm just moving this out, and I'm just kind of sticking to the shape. And if I'm like wanting to look through it, I can click here where it says transparent, trans P, activate full opacity. Actually, that doesn't quite work. I'll turn that off. It works okay. It doesn't make what I'm working on transparent. It makes everything else transparent. Okay, and then I can look here at, say, this 3/4 view, and I can see where, all right, I'm wanting things in 3/4. See, here is front view, drag it on this face. Here is side view, but in between that is this 3/4 view. And I can drag that out. Let's look at the side view. There we go. Now I'm pulling it into view. Again, if I make my brush size big and I do a shift, that'll smooth things out if it starts to get lumpy. But I'm really looking at how to make this thing kind of take on this shape, right? So there we have that. I'm going to look at, I'll go to Subtool menu again, and I will select my arms. My arms, right? And I can see that, okay, S, make my draw size big. And I can pull here. And then I can do shift to smooth it out, and that'll kind of also make it smaller and skinnier. It tends to. And I can look at the side view. Front view. Oops. Smaller. And let's see, I can go to the top and look at it. That also tends to help, looking from like every view you can. Okay, so there I have a pretty close basic shape of what I'm wanting to look for the arms. And then again, I can go down here on the left and go to where it says geometry and click Dynamesh. Dynamesh starts to reformulate it. I can smooth things down, and there I got a pretty good shape. I'll go to Subtool menu again, Subtool menu, and I'm going to select, say, my torso. And I'm going to start to bring in and narrow at the waist and look at my side view. Bring it in from the side, so I want kind of a butt. There we go. And then I'll grab the head and look from the front view. Pull that down here at the front. Look from the side. Okay, let's look from the front view. Go back to the torso and I'm pull up from the top and make a neck. Look in the side view. Make this neck go right up here. There we go. All right, pretty close approximation, I guess, of a human, at least for now. It's very basic. We've moved things around, we've inserted, we've used the move tool to try to get it pretty close. And if it doesn't look that great, don't worry. We're going to get more practice. So now we want to do one of the most important things is we want to save our project. So we're going to go to Z plugin at the top here, the Z plugin menu. I'm going to expand where it says Subtool Master. And then I'm going to click Save Z Tool. I have it here, my ZBrush basic body, basic shapes. I'll call this my last name, _ basic body. And I'll click Save. Okay, so I've saved it as a ZTL file right there. I'm going to close out ZBrush. I'll click here to close it, the X. It says, do I want to save changes to my ZBrush project? I'll click yes. I'm saving this as 2 different versions. Okay, I saved it as a ZTL file, and now I'm going to save it as a ZPR. Click here. We'll also call this basic shape, basic body. I will click save. Right.